Hello and welcome to Backpage Pass. This is our October 2012 International Break Review. Snappy title, I think. And there's been quite a lot of talk about blooding youngsters lately, so we've decided that we're going to do that by giving young Owen Grace his second start of the season. He'll be joining Mark Corcoran and myself, John O'Donnell, as we look back at the Republic of Ireland's games against Germany and the Faroe Islands, and then look ahead to next week's Premier League fixtures, and at no point will we be mentioning the war. Okay, we're going to start with the Germany game. Right, so Ireland versus Germany. We lost a bit. Who wants to start?
Well, we started well. That's the thing that people kind of seem to forget. Well, when I say well, it was 0-0 for 30 minutes. But they didn't actually create anything for 30 minutes, apart from maybe they shot outside the box. And I think we deflected a ball quite close. It was Ward, wasn't it? He deflected a ball just over our crossbar, and that was about all they created. And then John O'Shea seemed to get stuck in 4 or 5 minds of what to do with the ball, and Royce took it off him and he dragged him down, and it turned out to be, the ref gave him a yellow card for a dive, but probably was a penalty. But I thought that incident actually really unnerved Ireland, and we never really looked like we had the belief that we could actually see out the game after that. And a couple of minutes after that, Royce got the first goal, and it was pretty much game over after that. We never looked like getting anything after that.
It was all pretty much downhill. Owen, you were there for at least 60 minutes of it, right?
Yeah.
I had to stay till the end.
No, I left. First time I ever left a soccer match. Well, as well. They had a couple of chances. Walters got a knock on, and but yeah, the same as Mark. Once the first goal went in, the defence just sort of collapsed.
You had to stay to the end, though. You just had to stay to. You will always be able to say that I was there for Ireland's heaviest ever home defeat. I was there.
I was there when Andy Keogh got his second international goal.
Yeah. And he should have scored just before that as well when Norrie made a great save. But the reality is, when you look at it, some of those German players, when it comes to May or the end of the season, I'm not going to say who it is, but some of those German players are likely to end up with Champions League winners' medals. And they were lining up versus Sunderland's reserve goalkeeper. No offence to Westwood, don't have a problem with him, but that's the reality of it.
Third choice last season.
Third choice. Versus Germany's goalkeeper starts with Bayern Munich. Our centre midfield was Wigan, and I think Andrews is at Bolton, isn't he?
Yeah.
Versus Real Madrid and Real Madrid. Their winger was Royce from Dortmund. Our winger was McGeady. Okay, fair enough. He's at a decent club. But on the other side was Cox. Nottingham Forest. You know, like you can't reasonably expect going with great expectations that we're actually going to get a result. But you do expect that you can keep them to 2 or 3 goals at least.
Well, it just seemed like Germany just were walking out from the back with the ball, and there was no pressure, which is a thing Ireland always had. We had pressure. I know in a Trapattoni it's more a case of being tight at the back, pressing high up. But you kind of need to press those guys. Like when they lost at Euros, it was somebody was pressing them. Somebody was always hassling them.
They will figure you out if you give them time to see how we break through.
During the Euros up to the game where they got eliminated, the back 5 always had more than 80% passing accuracy. So they were just walking up and going, there you go. And that was against better teams than us.
Yeah.
So we were always going to struggle if we weren't going to put them under pressure. But it was just too much for you. It
was far too much, yeah. I think that before the Euros, they were a great defensive unit. Since the 3 games of the Euros, we've seen lots of goals, which is quite worrying. Royce's second goal, he had so much time on the ball. He could have decided to cross it into the middle, or he eventually scored. I think it was Coleman gave him a lot of space, and he just strolled in and hit it. So that's very worrying from an Irish perspective.
But was Coleman overrun a bit? Because, I mean, he wasn't getting a lot of protection from Cox, was he?
Cox, no.
I thought Coleman was one of our better players. In fact, in the second half, he was one of the guys that seemed to go out when it was 2-0 and try and redeem the situation. He actually went up the right wing, and I think he got dispossessed with trying to put a cross in, and they broke pretty quickly and scored a goal from his side for 3-0. But you couldn't really blame him for trying to take the fight. He just wasn't getting the protection that he needed.
But we there's been a lot of calls since the Euros for Ireland to go to 4-3-3, and we finally did it, and didn't really work, did it?
Well, I think we have better personnel than we're playing at the moment. Like 4-4-2 or 4-3-3. There's certain players that I would have in the team, and certain players that I wouldn't have in the team. Whether that is because Trapattoni's there and guys like Gibson and Foley don't want to play for him, or he's just setting his ways with the players that he wants. But I think we could be making a better fist of it no matter what formation we're playing.
And but how did you think? Okay, Walters up front on his own. We can't really do that. Or Robbie Keane. Did you think Walters did okay?
But the problem was it was just so obvious. Like say Westwood has the ball in his hands, the whole pitch bunched up into a corner where everybody knew where the ball was going, straight for Walters. They put Mertesacker on him, right? So tall guy versus on Walters. So your number one plan is to boot it up the pitch, a nice high ball where a tall defender is going to think I have a chance of winning that as much as Walters is going to think I have a chance of winning it. And so they bunched in. If Walters got the header, it was falling to a German player most of the time. And as soon as Germany won the ball back, the pitch spread right out again, and Ireland were chasing shallows. So our main tactic was to boot it long to Walters, and majority of the time it just wasn't working. I wouldn't blame Walters for that. I think he did okay in the Faroes match as well. He's a trier, like he works hard, but I think it wasn't really suited to him. Like you can play that long ball smart, but just hoofing it up from the goal kick just wasn't working against that quality of a team.
Germany did seem to have a better concept of compressing and expanding and having different shapes and things. Do you think Ireland would, at this day and age, does Trapattoni really need to pick up on this? Besides just the basic changing formations, does he need to learn how to work new formations as well? Owen?
It's a difficult question. I suppose, I think the Germans obviously wanted it more, and I think that stems from their youth teams pressing as well. They do a lot of pressing to win the ball back, and I don't think that's really in the Irish game as much. So, and I think the chopping and changing Trapattoni's done, I think it's hard for some of the players to settle into different formations, because he has changed players, but not necessarily the right players.
Well, I was just going to say that, like, he's a very capable manager. Like, that's fairly obvious. But maybe he just kind of thinks, well, I'm never going to compete with the teams in, let's say, the top 10. I don't have the panel of players. So it seems like he's kind of dumbed everything down to, we can do this and we can't do that. And if they can beat us on the things that we can't do, well, fair enough, I don't have the panel of players. But sport isn't that simple. As Northern Ireland showed last night, you know, if you fight, if you keep going to the end, who knows what's possible. You can get a result in the most unlikely of places. But we never really seemed like we had the relief after that first goal went in. And we were at home as well, and that was what was really the thing that stuck.
And one of the few positives I thought was Robbie Brady when he got his few minutes, and he put that, it was an amazing corner in for Kyo. Like, there's no way he could have missed that. And then Brady got a start against the Faroe Islands. How did you rate the performance against the Faroes?
I thought he did fine. I mean, I couldn't understand why he was taken off at half time. I thought that was a bit harsh. You think he's not playing well. He's a young lad. He's always looking for the ball. He's always looking to take his man on. Give him 15 minutes in the second half. What have you got to lose, really? As it turned out, we did score 2 goals in the first 15 minutes of the second half after taking him off. But still, I'm not talking about that game. I'm talking about in general. You know, you'd like to see. I don't think he did anything wrong in the first half. I'd have taken McGeady off before had taken him off. But then again, I do have a personal vendetta against Aidan McGeady.
McGeady played very well against the Faroes, I think.
I wouldn't say very well. Like defined very well.
He was putting in good balls, which is what people say he doesn't do. They say he gets the ball alone and doesn't do anything, but he was getting the ball in the box, and they were good balls, and they just need like a little touch. And then he created havoc for the own goal.
Yeah. Well, I probably wouldn't put a Cox on for either of them. That's the other point.
Yeah. Well, McGeady, when he had Brady on the far side as well, seemed to operate better because Ireland expanded more and it was a wider pitch, and there was just that little bit of extra space for him to take advantage of. He's
still a frustrating player though. He loses the ball a lot. I think a lot more than any other winger in the Irish team. And anytime I watch him for Spartak Moscow, he loses the ball about 3 or 4 times. He's taken off against Celtic for that reason a few weeks ago in the Champions League. But it's good to see Brady getting a chance. It shows that Trapattoni's willing to give the young players a chance, and maybe maybe they should keep him instead of getting rid of him. You know,
If Paul McShane was playing on the wing, right, you wouldn't be angry about it from a Paul McShane point of view because you know he's not capable. But it's because McGeady is so capable that it's so infuriating because he just doesn't do it enough.
Yeah, well, you say he doesn't do it enough, but he did do it last night. So
He
a bit
didn't
more
really
credit
do
where
it though.
credit's due.
They were 158 in the world. He didn't really make a lasting impression of this guy
I thought
deserves
he
his
did.
place.
I thought he
Not
did
to
very
me.
well last night.
Not to me. No.
Quite well, we're going to fight later.
Yeah.
Another player who came in was Mark Wilson, and he certainly did impress, at least with the goal, which
Second
nobody
goal
was
of his
expecting.
career. They were saying that the first one was against Blackburn Rovers for Stoke in December 2010, which I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but fair play to him, 2 goals. But yeah, much happier with him as opposed to Ward. I think Ward was looking like a real weakness in the team for the last few games. While going back through the Euros as well, I thought he was out of his depth in the Euros. So we need to try new options there. And Wilson gave me no reason not to put him in the next day as well.
And Coleman's performance was good again against the Pharaohs.
yeah, I thought he played well as well. It's good to see him getting his chance. I think if we can keep him, if he keeps playing on for Everton, keeps playing well for Everton, I think he should keep his place in the Irish team. There's no reason why he shouldn't. And yeah, as well, Wilson's a solid choice for left back from now on.
Well, I wonder should Coleman play start at right mid? Would he be stronger there? If you got Richard Dunn back into the team, you push John O'Shea to right back, Dunn St Ledger in the centre, and Wilson at left back, Coleman on the right, and McGeady or Brady on the left. Would you have a stronger unit? I don't know.
It was good, yeah, he doubled back more, but
Yeah.
he seems to have been moved there at club level as well.
Yeah.
I always thought he was more suited to being a winger for Everton as well. But
Yeah.
I think if we are gonna change formation to 4-3-3, which it doesn't look like we are gonna do, I definitely have him as a full back in that formation. But in a 4-4-2, maybe he'd
I think you have to be
better.
I think you have to be better keeping the ball for 4-3-3 to actually effectively work, because you're giving up a lot width wise. You don't have get it out wide and throw it into the box option. You kind of just have to pick your way through. And I don't really know if we have the players to do that.
Well, we had McCarthy who got man of the match last
Yeah.
night. And he seemed to really rebel, although that was the 4-4-2 formation. So if you have an extra ball player in there, we could potentially do stuff. I know against Germany we didn't, but it's Germany.
Yeah. But maybe Gibson, because he's come on leaps and bounds at Everton. But
Yeah, there's a slight problem that Trapp had a bit of a falling out weekend.
yeah, but who knows how long Trapattoni's going to be there? Probably till the end of the qualifying campaign. But so will McCarthy and so will Gibson for the one afterward for the France Euros. I think this qualifying campaign is probably doomed, because I don't think we're stronger than Sweden.
Kieran Clark as well still hasn't got a look in, and he's playing in midfield as well for Aston Villa, and he'd be a decent option if
Yeah, at
there
the
was
base of the midfield three, just sweeping up
Yeah, exactly.
in front of the lads. What else was I going to say? Germany were 4-0 up against Sweden, and I was like, oh, well, that's Trapp vindicated. They're smashing Sweden too. Like, it wasn't just a fluke against us. They're actually a really great team.
So they
And
were
then
home.
Sweden kind of came back and scored 4 goals.
Yeah.
And kind of ruined that argument.
Yeah, well, that's sport for you. Like Germany will be kicking themselves. You never know. Like Sweden could use that momentum and take the group. You never know.
We're
That
hoping
was
they don't.
astonishing. Sorry.
We're hoping they don't.
We are hoping they don't, but that's sport for you. Like Germany were incredible for an hour and then disgraceful for half an hour. It's probably one of the greatest results in Swedish football history to come from 4-0 down. You don't do that very often, but it's thrown the group, the race to win the group, wide open probably, because I thought after the game on Friday that, well, that's Germany there, we're going to walk away with this, particularly because Sweden didn't beat the Faroe Islands that convincingly.
Yeah, they went 1-0 down initially.
Yeah, so but then you go 2 or 3 days later, the whole group's wide open again.
And now people have been calling for Trapp to go. Owen, would you agree with that, or do you think we should hang on to him?
I think
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we should keep him because there's no one really else that could do a better job than him at the moment with the players that are there. I think he got us the Euros, in fairness to him, and we're not out of the group whatsoever. We've won 2 games and lost 1 to Germany, which was expected from everyone. So if they just stick by him and get through the Sweden game, who knows what happens? We could get second. So there's no point in changing it now.
Yeah, and Liam Brady made his point very strongly on TV last night that he's only lost 2 competitive games.
Yeah,
2 qualifying games in the 4 years he's been there. I know he nearly doubled that this year, or he went 4 times higher this year than he had before. But in qualifying, we've always been 3rd or 4th seeds, and we've always finished second. So
I thought it was hilarious that Brady was on Friday night was kind of like, yeah, maybe he should go, yeah. And then last night, yeah, we'd be the joke of the world if we sacked him. I can see both sides of the argument, but look, the fact is this: if they sack him and they sack Tardelli and all that goes with Trapattoni, do they have the money to pay for that? Probably not. That's A. If they go ahead and do that, B, do they have the money to pay for the replacement? Even if it's a cheap replacement, do they have the money for that? I've seen some ridiculous stories in the Independent saying bring Mick McCarthy back.
Fans were singing for it last night.
But like, can you, like 2002 when he went, or 2003 after the Switzerland game, like they would have hung him on Grafton Street. Like,
have these people seen Wolves playing the last 2 years?
Yeah.
McCarthy's going to come in and all of a sudden we're going to be playing tiki-taka.
Yeah.
Playing teams off the pitch.
But the other one as well was the headline was Harry Redknapp waiting in the wings. Do you know how much Harry Redknapp would cost? Like, fair enough, he would go to the games, unlike Trapattoni, and he'd probably make a good fist of it. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but like, he's not going to be cheaper than Trapattoni is going to be. I can see, as I said, I can see both sides of the argument. Yeah, he's lost only 2 qualifying games, but the thing that really stands out to me is there's a lot of bad feeling around the Irish soccer team at the moment, and that kind of, if it's putting people off going to the games, it's, if people don't want to watch Ireland playing football, well, then you've got something wrong, and maybe it is time for a change. Because I don't see Trapattoni has a massive desire to actually turn things around or do anything different. He's found what works for him, and he's going to stick with that. And even if it turns against him, he's going to stick with it.
Okay, right. Well then, in honour of the Germans, we're going to bring part 1 of this pod to a close in a timely and efficient manner. We will talk to you after this musical interlude. Do you like my accent?
Don't mention the war.
Hello and welcome to part 2 of Backpage Pass. Let's stop looking at the doom and gloom of the internationals and look ahead to the Premier League, beginning with Spurs versus Chelsea. Spurs at home. This is really AVB's cup final for the season, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a huge game for him, considering what's gone on in the past year or so. Spurs have had a great start to the season. They're on a great roll, and it'll be a great game because Chelsea are playing so well as well. So it'll be a good clash between the two.
Definitely wouldn't write him off though. After the going to Old Trafford and winning, it seemed like pulling out all the stops to get that one as well. But like, if he could show Abramovich, like, that's what I'm made of, like, that could really springboard their season again further. But favourites are still Chelsea for that one, because they have a stronger panel and they're in good form too.
AVB didn't get a lot of money when he was at Chelsea, did he?
No, like, Di Matteo has made the signings that AVB probably would have wanted to have made.
Yeah. I mean, I know he bought Lukaku. Romelu wasn't much. Romelu.
No, they nicked him off Barcelona. Like,
yeah, it was like 6 million or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I might be wrong on that, but I think he was in line to come even before AVB took over there.
Oh, okay.
I
Likewise,
think he was in the pipelines when who was there before AVB? Ancelotti when Ancelotti was there. Yeah.
Likewise with
Lukaku.
Yeah, but with Di Matteo, he hasn't really spent that money. I mean,
Yeah, I know. They were
he
all
wasn't even
Abramovich, but AVB would have loved enough players.
Yeah.
And he would have loved him to be able to drop Frank Lampard without the hassle.
Yeah.
And John Terry. John Terry would be out of that club if AVB was in charge.
I think this, like we've been saying it for a good while now, but this could be their like Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole refused to sign a contract in Chelsea. He's gone for free in the summer. Apparently Real Madrid want him because of Mourinho. Chelsea would be to snatch any club's hand off to get rid of those lads. Just absolutely detrimental influence on the rest of the dressing room, and they have been for a while. They,
And big wages as
yeah,
well.
but their cons are quickly catching up on their pros, and they have been for a long time.
But it's quality opposition for Chelsea. This is a good barometer of where they are this season, because they tend to do very well against the lower placed teams and then kind of okay against the bigger teams.
Yeah, they have to be favourites for the league at this stage, just because they've shown really a surprising intent that a lot of people, including myself, would have said this would be a transition season, get those new guys to bed in, and next season they'll have a really strong go. But they look ready for, looking ready for and being ready for is two different things, and I suppose we'll find out where Chelsea really are after the Tottenham game. But at the same time, they beat Arsenal, and they beat Arsenal well, so they've answered everything that's already been asked of them, so this is just another step for them.
And the other big title contenders so far are Man City, and they travel to West Brom. West Brom have been good at home so far. But will City be too much for them?
Yeah, I think City will probably edge it. Obviously, the golfing class and players, but Steve Clarke's had a great start to the season for West Brom. It's been their best ever start in the league. Yeah, but the player like City still have a lot to prove this season. Come off the back of the league win, and Mancini's under a lot of pressure at the moment for some reason. He's been criticised for changing his team a lot, especially in the Champions League. But he wants to make sure that they can keep winning the league.
You never know. Like Silva is looking like he's going to be injured for that match. He might have. I think there were 3 City players involved in the England match tonight. They might get a rest. I don't know. City are heavy favourites going into that, but West Brom have been strong at home, so maybe they will take something there. But you put all your money on City if you had to put all your money on a team in that match.
One of the two teams. It's really 50-50.
Yeah.
Really. Although the bookies probably won't give you 50-50.
No.
Man United against Stoke. They're at home. Man United are at home. Width isn't really Stoke's thing. So are we expecting City or Manchester to spread wide, or are we expecting to go with the Rooney and the false 9 narrow push? Are they going to just try and force it through the middle, or are they going to go wide? What do we think?
I think we're going to try and develop this Rooney, Van Persie, maybe even Welbeck to what we've been seeing in the kind of Champions League the last couple of games. They're going to try and push that and see how far they can get with it. So it could be the same kind of teams that you've been seeing in recent weeks. The other thing, aspect of which is really undecided is Lindegaard or De Gea going to start, because the last league match De Gea started against Newcastle, made a few decent saves, but he looked very, very shaky from crosses, and of course Stoke will be more than happy to just launch things into the box. So it'll be really interesting to see does Lindegaard come back in, having been the league goalkeeper, or starting the season on the bench as the league goalkeeper, then becoming the league goalkeeper, then losing his place as the league goalkeeper. Does he once again become the league goalkeeper? So I think there's a lot of unanswered questions over the number 1 spot at United.
De Gea against Crouch and Walters, and what do you think, Owen?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mismatch really, and the defenders of Stoke as well will cause havoc for all the United defence.
Shawcross will have no problem cleaning him out. Like, if he knows he's not a commanding, confident goalkeeper, he just plough into him.
And
sorry to go across you there.
No, that's fine.
Liverpool are at home to Reading, and Rodgers would really want to be winning this, wouldn't he, Owen?
Yeah, it's a big game because they have to get a home win really. It's going to be a problem though, because Pepe Reina is not going to be playing.
I don't see that as much of a problem.
Yeah, well, with the likes of Programmia playing in front of Reading, you wouldn't know with Brad Jones and goal. Reina Bizarre.
What's his name? Donny?
Donny's on break. He's been given extra time off. They've given him.
It's lunchtime for Donny.
As if he needs a break, like with all the football he's been playing.
He's burnt out.
They've put him on leave, but yeah,
bizarrely, there's probably something horrible happened there. Oops.
Yeah, cut.
Let's hope Donny's not listening to this. Bizarrely,
I don't know.
Uncle Donny.
I don't hope so.
Reina got injured on international duty, so I've heard it all now. Really.
Was Reina playing for Spain?
No, he got injured at half time against France doing the warm up. He pulled his hamstring. So, Liverpool have to win really, because they've won one game at the start, and Rodgers has to.
They have won at home.
Yeah, they need a home win, and they need Suarez to start scoring at Anfield as well from play.
Barini's out for 2 months as well, I think.
Yeah.
When you don't have strikers, you can't really lose strikers to injury. It's kind of a no-no. So Reading haven't got a victory so far this season. Don't see them getting one against Liverpool, but I can see it being yet another draw.
And speaking of Liverpool strikers, West Ham are at home to Southampton. It's a big test. It's a big test for Andy Carroll. I mean, he kind of needs a goal to really justify the potential transfer fee of 17 million. Do you think he'll get it against Southampton? He still hasn't scored for West Ham.
It depends. Like he's been saying for a couple of years now that he just needs that goal to kick him on, but he hasn't really got it. So
he got one against Chelsea last year, and that was kicking him on. And then Rodgers arrived and kicked him back, and there was all sorts of kicking going on.
Yeah, I think he's been quite inconsistent as well. He's had a lot of injury problems, but it doesn't really matter if he scores tomorrow.
Was it the Polish coach that said his 8-year-old son, has better movement than Andy Carroll?
Or better control, or better touch, or something like that. He's more skillful. Grandson.
And I wouldn't say that he was being sarcastic when he was saying he's like, no, I know somebody who good footballer, better than Andy Carroll actually.
8.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just a mix-up because Andy Carroll's number 8 for West Ham. I'm sure there was some kind of...
He's actually played all right for West Ham, I thought.
Yeah.
Lacking the goals, but looking
his
effective.
Presence is
Yeah, he's a nuisance for the defence.
Could be with it being a nuisance for the ball boys, unfortunately. Blah, blah, blah. Fulham versus Villa. I reckon Fulham will win this. What do you think?
Yeah, Villa have been very shaky this season so far. There's a lot of problems as well with Bent and Lambert have had a fight, and he's been stripped of the captaincy. And they don't really have a strong squad. Like, they're fairly thin on the ground with numbers. They have a lot of young players in the squad. And Fulham are doing okay. They've had a decent start, and if Berbatov plays well, they'll probably win.
One interesting thing about Villa over the coming months, providing that presumably sell Darren Bent, and Randy Lerner over the weekend sold the Cleveland Browns for I think $1 billion. Don't know what currency it was, but $1 billion money.
$1 billion money.
Yeah. I think it was in an Irish paper, so I presume it was euro they were talking about. But does he invest that? Does he put all his attention into Aston Villa, or does he keep kind of?
I'd go on a holiday if I just made that kind of money. Be like, yep, see us.
But like everybody's kind of thinking, he's losing interest in Villa. He's selling all their best players without really replacing them. Does him selling the Cleveland Browns mean that he's going to properly give his attention to Aston Villa? I would say no. He probably will try and sell Villa as well and just kind of say, FX Sports, let's try something else, because there's no money to be made in sport. But Villa aren't going anywhere as a club. Fulham seem to kind of hit their ceiling where they got to a UEFA Cup final, and that was their ceiling, and they're fine with that, and they'll try and get back to cup finals again, and they know their place. But Villa don't really seem to know their place. They kind of just bob around, and a couple of seasons ago they were maybe a top 4 team. Now you're thinking they could go down. They just seem to be going through the motions. They're not really replacing their key players. They're not really looking to invest to bring in the players that are needed. Lambert seems to be kind of already looks a bit frustrated there, like he's not getting what he needs behind the scenes.
He left Norwich because he thought, it's a bigger club, better opportunity, and they haven't really provided him. They haven't made it better for him. He's had a very similar experience to what Hoot was at Norwich. He hasn't lost many games, but I think Norwich brought in as many good players with the likes of Snodgrass and who else did they get from Leeds?
Bradley Johnson and
Howson.
Yeah.
It really goes to show you that you shouldn't jump at the first big club, inverted commas, that comes along for you, because he probably will be happier at Norwich. And now he's kind of got there's a bit of nastiness behind the scenes between himself and Norwich, where they're kind of court case and looking for compensation and saying he left a breach of contract and all that kind of stuff. Probably would have been happier just staying there and trying to repeat what he did the first season. I'm sure another big club, like maybe David Moyes, would have left and he could have taken Everton. You never know, but I think it was a bad move to Villa, or it looks that way anyway so far. But as for the score prediction, we'll go with 1-1.
1-1. Fun times. No, that doesn't happen with Fulham. Fulham are all out.
Fulham, that game is going to be last on Match of the Day.
I'll tell you what game
you can make my words.
I'll tell you what game I think. They probably have listed to be down as last, but I think it's probably going to be the best game of the day. Swansea versus Wigan. Like, those two teams, they generally, like, people won't be expecting to be in the top half, but they're not the type of teams who fail to entertain. They always go for it.
Yeah, that would be the lack of defenders there, John.
Yeah, I don't care. It's great. I can't wait to see that game.
Well, particularly on the Wigan side, but Swansea haven't had great results in the last couple of weeks, so they'll be looking at this one. But equally, Wigan will feel this is a good opportunity for 3 points. So yeah, it does have the makings of a good game, all right,
Two teams who play football.
Yeah,
as opposed to rugby.
Yeah, well,
Stokes guys.
Yeah,
it is a rugby ground.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, both teams are have great attacking philosophies thanks to their managers, and I can see it being a 2-2 draw now.
It's Martinez returned to Swansea as well, so it'll be a little bit
Nice.
emotional.
Yeah. He had that last year as well, didn't he? So
Yeah, but don't piss on my parade. Last game on Saturday will be the late kickoff, and that'll be Norwich at home to Arsenal. And this is the type of game that Arsenal usually tend to find tricky. I'm talking about the likes of when they used to play like Charlton or Middlesbrough or Bolton. They'd always come unstuck against those kind of teams. And is that going to happen against Norwich?
Well, I have absolutely no reason to think Norwich are going to take points from that game. Arsenal are playing well, getting results. Norwich, well, fair enough, they might be playing okay, but they're not getting results, and that's the key. Arsenal are looking strong in the attacking areas, but also they're looking reasonably well in defensive areas as well. So you've got to fancy Arsenal are at home, aren't they?
No, they're away.
They're away. Well, even so, I still fancy them to go there. They have a lot of pace up front, and that will cause Norwich problems.
yeah, it's the same. I watched Norwich against Liverpool and Chelsea, and the pace the attacking players had in those two teams were far too much for Norwich, and I think it'll be the same with Arsenal.
Will Norwich have learned their lessons? Will they try and compact it and come back and deep, or do you think they'll try and play their football the way they have been doing?
They'll probably try and take Arsenal on, because I would always believe that if a big team is playing a small team, the small team should always take the big team on, because kind of sitting there and hoping is like once you eventually fall a goal behind you, you're left looking around you like, what am I supposed to do now? It's a bit too late to actually try and attack them then, because you've spent all your energy on defending. But no, I always think attacking is the best form of defence, and I think that's what Norwich will go and try and do. Plus Holt as well is a good reason to think that you can cause Arsenal problems, but just not enough problems.
I don't know. I think Mertesacker could have hold.
In a fight or in a football match?
Oh, in a football match. Hold it, batter him. On the Sunday, QPR are at home to Everton, and Sparky really doesn't want this match right now, does he?
Sparky doesn't really want any match right now.
No, he'd love a bit of Norwich at home, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
But Everton had been on a roll, lost the game. They're going to want to prove. They're going to have a point to prove when they go to QPR.
Still think QPR or Hughes is quite likely to be the first manager sacked. If I look down at the 20 teams, you got to go with Everton to win that, but it'll be a close one, I think, just because Everton have lost a bit of their momentum, but they have a good chance to get it back against QPR.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jelavic.
Very agreeable today.
I know. Yeah.
Disagree with me, goddammit.
You're meant to be in the aim and done for your own.
Jelavic is on form before the international break, so if he keeps it up, I think Everton will win. But having said that, Everton seem to run out of steam a lot during the season, and that could go against them. The international break could go against them, and I could see QPR grabbing a draw in that game.
Ooh, grabbing a draw. Now, the big one, last game.
Ooh.
The last game of the weekend, which will actually be the second last. I kind of swapped it.
Of the Saturday?
Oh, no, the Sunday.
Of the Sunday?
This is our 10th game. Can you believe we got here already?
We've gone through the 10 fixtures
Yeah.
already? Oh, jeez, I thought we were only getting started.
It's the Northeast Derby, the big one. Sunderland at home to Newcastle United.
Middlesbrough are playing Hartlepool? Oh, man, I'm there.
Newcastle have been good without being great this season. Would you agree?
Well, Cisse hasn't really hit the heights that he had last season, but I think it's more to do. I would fancy that Newcastle win on Sunday, but that's more to do with Sunderland don't really inspire me as a team who are actually going to go and score goals when the pressure is on. So Yeah, I would fancy Newcastle to win that, but I don't think it's going to be a classic derby. Newcastle won that, I think, what was it, 5 last season?
That was the season before.
Season before, was it?
But no, but the season before it was Nolan and Carroll kind of ran amok.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I remember that.
I mean,
No, I don't fancy Sunderland to actually win because I don't think they've enough really going forward. Although Newcastle aren't necessarily the strongest defensively, but my gut is telling me Newcastle because seems to be hitting his goal scoring form again, and Ben Arfa is playing well, and that should be enough to get them over the line.
and Sunderland, yeah, as Mark said there, Sunderland have been kind of underperforming too. They haven't really set the league alight, have they?
No, they've been relying a lot on Fletcher. I think he scored all of their goals this season.
Absolutely all.
Yeah, and he's only had 6 shots. I think he's got 5 goals. So
Good stat.
they should
Stats.
they should their wingers should have to contribute more to goals, I think, and I know they're helping Fletcher get his goals at the moment, but they should chip in more with some goals, and they're a bit shaky at the back as well, I've noticed in the first couple of weeks.
Like even on going forward, he said 5 goals and 6 shots, but where's Sessegnon?
Last season he was
Yeah,
one of their best
Fraser,
players.
is Fraser Campbell fit? Players like that, they really are overly reliant on Fletcher. Great signing though. Said a couple of weeks ago we had the debate over was it too expensive, but I think it was a great
I think
signing.
they've only really replaced Bent now that he's there.
Again, like I was saying about Lambert, Ben should have stayed at Sunderland. Like he went just on a sideways move for massive money and never really went
Well, I
anywhere.
think it was a personal problem with Bruce. He seems to be falling out with managers a lot.
Yeah, he must be a bit about
Yeah. Well, it was more about
so and so.
Bruce's daughter. He was a bit of a cad, apparently.
A cad.
Yes.
What's a cad?
He got up to some funny business.
Yeah, but I just never heard the word cad before.
Okay, well.
So did his son. He's actually switched allegiances to Northern Ireland, if anyone cared to notice.
Yeah.
Alex Bruce.
I mean, nobody really. No,
No,
I was
actually.
calling Bent a cad, but
Put Alex Bruce in the worst Ireland 11.
we were doing a worst Irish 11 earlier. Who did we settle on? We settled on who's in goal? Randolph.
No, we didn't have Randolph. We put Paddy Kenny in there because it's the Cyprus as well.
Okay, yeah. Because it was
We
bitten my
put
breath.
McShane went into the back 4.
Yeah,
Breen went into the back 4.
yeah.
Glenn Crowe was a contender at number 9, former Bowls man.
Yeah, he got an appearance, didn't he?
Against
Yeah.
Greece, yeah.
Greg Cunningham was left back, or was it Delaney?
No, Delaney we put left back.
I'd go Delaney just because his last name is Delaney.
Yeah. So that's our back 4
Gary Doherty.
up front.
Yeah.
Martin Rowlands, holding midfielder.
I like Martin Rowlands. Martin Rowlands. Never got a chance. Alan Mahan.
Yeah, I remember that name. Where would I know him from?
Oh, he was at Ipswich for a while. He was at was he at Sheffield Wednesday?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
yeah.
Then we have Mackin up front.
John Mackin.
Yeah, John
from
Mackin.
Man City.
Alan O'Brien, formerly of Newcastle. I remember Alan Shearer saying this is going to be best winger in the Premiership. Didn't quite work out.
No,
Wasn't even
no.
the best winger in the SPL.
No, it never works out.
But we got 11 there.
Daryl Murphy.
I
as
think
well.
we're missing a right side of midfield player, but we can play 4-3-3 and go with Darren Murphy.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Poor Daryl Murphy. Has he played in Did he play in Champions League for Celtic?
No,
No,
he's
he's-
on loan at Ipswich now.
Did he last
Did
time?
Killian
in Champions
Sheridan
League?
play for?
Yep.
He did, yes. So Killian Sheridan, Kilmarnock.
He
Yeah,
played
really.
in Champions League.
No, but did he play with Ireland?
You got 1 or 2 caps.
Right. I'll
But
take
Champions
the win.
League, I think. He was in. Oh, that's a game for another day. But anyway, if you have suggestions for Worst 11, put it in our comments either on the YouTube channel or on the Facebook page. And that's probably a good place to wrap it up.
Didn't see that coming.
If you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, you should know how to do that by now. It's 2012, for God's sake. And I don't mean it's 8:15.
Hey,
There we go. That's it for another
delayed
week.
reaction.
That's it for another week. We've been giving Owen a run out, and I think we'll keep him around the squad. I was considering loaning him out to a lower pod, but there aren't any, so
Yeah.
we won't bother. And we will speak to you again next week, in which time this accent will be entirely pointless.
Hey. did you see
That's why we didn't get any downloads last week. We didn't talk about Hulk Hogan's cock.
Did you see the weatherman? The weatherman was on the Journal today. The video where it's like he's kind of showing like this thing coming in from the west.
It looks like a knob.
Yeah, but he's going like this, going like that with the thing like that. It's actually it's priceless.
There's loads of videos like that on YouTube.
Of weathermen, like.
Yeah, because it seems to be a pretty consistent weather pattern in America of a knob going right across the south of the country. A knob of pressure.
But he keeps going like that, and it gets bigger as he's going.
The internet. Right. This will only be a short one. Unlike what's his face, Beardy Hogan,
and the weatherman.
brings new meaning to the term Hogan stand. Am I right? Am I right?
Very good.
You can never sit there again.
Why would you want to sit there?
To get $100 million.